remember when I first heard the word hormones. I was a little kid, had no idea what it meant, but I recall the word was only meant phrase, it's just hormones. Then over the years, the word hormones came up a lot more, and it became clear to me whatever these hormones are, they must be pretty important because they're mentioned for a lot of different things. And indeed, today I can tell you that yes, hormones are a very big deal, as well as the system that secretes them. You know what system I'm talking about. The endocrine system. The endocrine system consists of structures that secrete hormones. That can be at the cellular level or the organ level, but a big focus for the system and for this video is on glands. Now some of the major glands in the endocrine system also have non-endocrine duties that we won't be going into, and some of these glands are also classified as organs and their roles with other body systems. Okay, so endocrine glands. We'll start with the in the brain. Hypothalamus, pineal gland, pituitary gland. Those are all found in the brain. In the neck area, thyroid and parathyroid. And farther down in the upper chest, the thymus. Above your kidneys, the adrenal glands. Near the stomach, the pancreas. Gonads. The gonads are reproductive glands. Ovaries, which are part of the female reproductive system. Testes, which are part of the male reproductive system. Now, two things to point out about all these glands. Number one, we're focusing on endocrine function and not exocrine in this video. What's the difference? Well, endocrine gland function means that they are going to release hormones right into their surroundings. They have no special ducts to carry things away. Exocrine glands have ducts that carry whatever is secreted into a body opening or body surface, like sweat glands or mammary glands, which produce milk. Sometimes a gland that has endocrine function can also have exocrine function. The pancreas, for example. The pancreas is using its endocrine function when it's milk. Or lipids, like in the case of steroids. And it's important to realize that because a ton of material doesn't make its own hormones. You may
The video is actually na-explain na rin naman siya sa ibang video. Hindi nagkakaroon siya for a video.
progesterone, which
Sige na po tayo dito. The parts na po yan. So the hypothalamus responds to environmental stimuli that allows the body to respond by controlling the gland's activity under the pituitary axis. So the first part is the hypothalamus and then the pituitary gland. The hypothalamus secretes specific release factors that affect the pituitary activity, which is also found in your brain. Once stimulated, the pituitary gland secretes trophic hormones that signal specific glands in the body to release these respective hormones.
Types of hormone interaction. First is the synergism. When two substances like hormones or drugs work together and their combined effect is stronger than the sum of their individual effects. Example is two hormones both raise blood glucose and together they raise it much more than either alone.
Now the second one is the permissive interaction. When one substance needs another to be present in order to have its full effect. Now yun sa synergism, kailangan daw dalawa daw yung hormones or isang hormone isang drug para stronger daw yung effect nila. Now dito naman sa permissive interaction, only one substance needs the other in order to have its full effect. So, for example, then is the thyroid hormone makes cells more responsive to the adrenaline. Adrenaline works better when thyroid hormone is around. The third type is the antagonistic effect.
When two substances have opposite effect and one reduces or blocks the effect of the other. Example is insulin lowers blood glucose while glucagon raises it, they act in opposite ways.
Now, for the recap of the types of hormones, the antagonistic effect, they react in opposite ways. Now, dito naman sa permissive interaction, yung isang substance yung dalawa kasi yung substance na ginamit yun sa hormone interaction. Yung isang substance need niya yung another to have its full effect. While the synergism naman is two hormones or two substances or drugs nag-combine sila to make the effect stronger. Now,
Secretion of hormones is controlled by negative
siya kasi nag-serve yan siya as the inhibitor or the regulator of the hormones released or secreted by the endocrine system. Kasi our body needs to remain within the homeostatic conditions. Yung homeostatic conditions is the balanced state of the body. Hindi naman kasi pwede nga sobra ang atom sugar or very low ang atom sugar. So si negative feedback, siya ang nag-moderate to ensure that our body mag-stay siya sa homeostatic conditions. Now, let's watch a video about the negative feedback.
Negative feedback sounds like a bad thing, right? Well, actually, it's not bad at all. In fact, it's a very important process that occurs in our bodies all the time. But what does it actually do? What does negative feedback mean? It's all to do with homeostasis. Homeostasis maintains a constant internal environment so that important functions and processes in the body can be carried out properly. We looked at homeostasis in more detail in this video. Homeostasis stops us getting too hot or too cold and ensures we are breathing enough to bring in sufficient oxygen and maintains the salt levels within our bodies. Negative feedback is an important type of control that is found in homeostasis, keeping different values around a constant set point. It's a continuous cycle. Very simply put, you get too hot. Your body detects that it's hot. Your body turns on mechanisms to cool itself down. You cool down, the mechanisms are turned off again, and you're back to the start. It's called negative feedback because the stimulus, you being too hot, causes an opposite reaction by the body, so cooling you down. Let's now look at it in a little more detail. Negative feedback involves the hypothalamus, the part of the brain that is responsible for homeostasis. Whether it's temperature, regulation, blood pressure, blood sugar, photosynthesis in plants, it always follows the same steps. A change in a given variable occurs, so either an increase or a decrease. Receptor cells in the body detect this change in a variable. A correction mechanism is then activated, which aims to adjust the variable back to the set point at which it is meant to be, so reversing the change that had occurred. Once the variable returns to the set point level, the correction mechanism stops. It's cyclical and constantly occurring in the body. Now let's look at an example to see what kind of correction mechanisms we have within the body. Different types of stimulus will trigger different responses. We're going to look at blood sugar levels in more detail. We need glucose in our bloodstream for respiration, but too much or too little can be dangerous. This is where negative feedback comes in. When an animal has eaten, blood glucose levels in the body increase. Receptor cells in the pancreas detect this change. This stimulates the release of insulin. Insulin is a hormone that causes the absorption of glucose from the blood, which is changed into glycogen by the liver, where it can then be stored. This causes the blood glucose levels to fall until they return to the set point. This is detected by receptor cells in the pancreas, and the secretion of insulin is stopped. If the blood glucose level then falls too low, this is then detected by different receptor cells in the pancreas, but now a different hormone called glucagon is released. Glucagon stimulates the liver to change glycogen back to glucose, which can then be released into the bloodstream. Blood glucose levels increase again. This change is recognized by receptor cells, and if the blood glucose levels reach the desired set point, the release of glucagon is stopped. Negative feedback is a continuous balancing act. So there we have negative feedback. The important thing to remember about negative feedback is that it's a circle. Some variable changes from the set point and then we correct it by returning to the set point, which is where we started. To learn more about temperature regulation and water balance,
Now, we have here the secretion of melatonin. Secretion of melatonin is dependent on the amount of light received by the eye. Sorry about that. Now, let's move on to the next topic. We have the secretion of melatonin. The secretion of melatonin is dependent on the amount of the light received by the eyes. Melatonin is actually the hormone that helps you sleep at night. The melatonin levels in the body increase upon decreasing the intensity of light. Moreover, the adrenaline that facilitates the fight, flight, or freeze response is stimulated by sudden and strong emotions such as fear or anger due to stress. Thank you everyone. Thank you for listening. That's our